Hi guys, hope you guys are all doing well. This is Dr. Khan. Today I'm recording outside just to change it up a little bit. So may peace be upon you, and it's a pleasure to connect with you. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to deal with loss, how to deal with death, and the fear of the unknown. Again, how to deal with death, deal with loss, the sudden change in our lives right now due to COVID-19, and the fear of the unknown. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to start out by talking about why are we going through this, right? Like how we're going through this on many folds. Not are we losing loved ones, hearing about constant loss on the news, social media, but we are also dealing with our own loss, right? In the sense that we all of a sudden had to change our life, right? We had to go from working in a work atmosphere to working at home. We had to all of a sudden give up things that we were usually doing, like maybe just going outside or biking or rollerblading to a certain degree, or whatever that you may do. It's a loss. Okay, if it wasn't a physical loss, if you didn't deal with a physical loss yet, you dealt with a loss as far as the structure of your environment, right? So there was definitely loss. And how do we deal with that, right? How do we deal with not seeing our students anymore? How do we deal with not, following our routines? What is death, right? Death is when something happens all of a sudden, right? And death doesn't have to be in the form of someone passing away. It can be a sudden shock in your life, right? A sudden shock. So how do you deal with this, right? So a lot of us might be facing sadness, trauma, especially individuals who already dealt with losses in the past. This can be another add-on to, like, oh my goodness, how am I going to deal with all this, right? All this change, all this uncertainty. Okay, so now I'm going to start out with talking about the stages of grief. Kubler-Ross talked about the 5 stages of grief. Okay, so a lot of you, if not all of us, are going to go through this process. She talks about denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, right? So a lot of us are going to go through these stages differently. Okay, no one person experiences this in a stepwise process. So understanding that each person will experience it differently. Okay, you might go back and forth. So some days you might be like, wait a second, is this really happening? Are we really wearing masks and gloves and walking outside right now? Are we really, what day is it, right? So you might be going through this denial process. Then you might go through this anger process, like feel immense anger and you don't even know where it's coming from. Then you might go through depression, and where you feel so much sadness, like, oh my goodness, like, where is this sadness coming from? And you are going to go through these, and you might and fluctuate in a fluctuating manner, meaning you may go through the denial process, the anger process, and then you might go through depression, bargaining, depression, but then come back to depression again, right? Sadness. And understanding that you are you will go through this process. If you understand this, you won't be so scared to go through it. Okay, so the first step is understanding the grieving process, right? That just because you didn't deal with death per se, right? Or you may have, but all of us have dealt with a big loss, a change in our environment, a sudden change, right? So it's a type of shock, right? A type of trauma, right, for some of us. So we have to understand that we are all going to go through the stages of grief, and it will go back and forth, meaning you are going to feel, if you understand that, whoa, today's Wednesday, I'm feeling the sadness, and it's okay, I accept you, right? I'm feeling sad because I don't even know why, it's just scary, and I don't know, and it's okay, I accept you. So first step is acknowledging that we are all going to go through the grieving process. Number 2, watching those the grieving process as they come within our within your body, right? And within your energy field, and understanding that, hey, this is okay. This is okay. This is absolutely normal. Absolutely normal, right? So that's number one. Understanding the grieving process. Okay. Also, the fear of the unknown, right? We talked about the fear of the unknown. We don't know where this is all going to go, right? We don't know how our life is going to look like after this, right? This is where you bring your faith in God, right? How do you deal with the fear of the unknown? This is where you bring your faith in God, trusting His plan, right? Trusting the universe's plan, and really internalizing, having unbreakable faith, right? Understanding that everything happens for a reason, right? Full trust in God, right? And being okay with this. The fear of the unknown. We all have that fear of the unknown, but we have to become very comfortable with the unknown. We've experienced the fear of the unknown for a very long time, as a child, as a baby, as a child, as an adolescent, as young adults, as a, and so on. So fear of the unknown is something that we have to get used to, because it's part of life. It is part of life, right? We have to be okay with the unknown. We have to be okay with not knowing, right? It takes off a lot of pressure, right? It takes off a lot of pressure. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some techniques that you can use during this process of dealing with death, right? Losing loved ones, just hearing about just tragedy after tragedy on social media, right? Just dealing with just the sudden change that occurred in all of our lives, right? So I'm going to talk about some techniques that you can just use and try them. I mean, don't just look at this video and say, oh, okay, great ideas. No, I want you to actually take out a paper and pen, or your notes section on your phone, whatever it may be, and actually try these techniques regularly, okay? So number one is change your mindset about death. Change your mindset about death. Death, accepting it. It is a part of our life, right? And instead of calling it death, dying, call it returning back to God. Call it returning back to God, right? Trusting that whoever has left us due to COVID-19 or whatever reason it may be, is back with God, because that's the next journey, right? Think about a baby in a mother's womb, right? When a baby is in a mother's womb, they think that's life and that's it, right? The child will be like, this is awesome. This is my mom. This is life. They don't know what's coming next, right? But then it's time for labor, and they're big and they're getting squished, and they think that's it, right? But then they come out and there's this life, right? They meet their parents, or they meet their family. But in the same way, when death occurs, understanding that it's not it, right? It's not it. That's not it. There's another life. We don't know how it looks like, right? Or how it will be, right? Because it's again, we're not there, but trusting that our loved ones are safe and in their next journey, their eternal journey. Understanding that. It will really help you, instead of saying, oh my goodness, you just die. No, you don't just die, right? Think of the baby in the womb. That baby did not know what was coming. Just like that, when we lose our loved ones, trust that there is a beautiful life ahead of them, right? The eternal life. Okay. All right, moving on. So we talked about the stages of grief already, okay? All right. Next, we're going to talk about, okay. So another thing that you want to do is create whenever you're feeling really sad, remember when I said you are going to go through those grieving process, especially the sadness part, make a list of, it could be worse list. It's called it could be worse list. List of people that might be in more difficult situations than you. Think about lists like maybe people in war, people in third world countries that are struggling. Think about refugees. Think about a person who is terminally ill and paralyzed in bed. Make a list of all those things that you're not at this moment. That will help you fix your mindset. That will help you fix your mindset. So creating a it could be worse list, Okay, that really helps. I've done it. I've told many of my clients to do it, and it really, really helps and gets you out of this rut of feeling extreme sadness. Okay, and you are going to go through those sad phases. You will, once a week. I don't know how it may be for you, but it will come. It will come with a surge of very, very sad energy, and you have to know where it's coming from. Okay, next, I also want you to make a I accept list. So I accept list means I accept that we are going through there's a virus all over the world. I accept that I am not with my, I accept that I lost my job right now. I accept that my aunt passed away due to COVID all of a sudden. I accept that, so again, any difficulties that you may have faced or are facing, you say I accept, blah 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 blah, I accept, blah 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 blah, I accept, blah 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 blah. Why do you do this? You do this because you are accepting God's decree. Why do you do this? You are accepting God's decree. When you accept the realities of life that's happening currently, there's no resistance, right? It goes through you. So there's no resistance. You are basically saying, hey, God, I accept your decree. I accept what you have planned for me. I know it's not personal. I know it's part of the journey. So again, when you write it down physically and see it, it helps come out of your system, right? It helps come out of your system, and the resistance that you're feeling inside will diffuse. It will diffuse, and you will see it visually on paper. I accept this, and be specific. Trust me, you will see how liberating this technique is. Okay, moving on. I also, another technique that you want to use is a COVID blessings list. So write down all the blessings that COVID did bring about, right? So what are some positives that have occurred since COVID started? Maybe you have more time with your children. Maybe you are saving more money. Again, it depends on your circumstances. Maybe you are realizing what really matters in life. So again, making a COVID blessing list. Moving on. You also want to be in nature. You want to go get your vitamin D. You want to be regularly exercising. Why? Because all of this helps process your emotions. Okay? Moving on. Oh, and you definitely want to stay hydrated, right? You do not want to get sick with already the changing dynamic of this situation. Okay? Furthermore, affirmations. So saying constant affirmations will help you, right? So you don't get stuck in those negative thoughts, right? Or fears, right? Because fears can, a fear, be it that's amplified with our minds, can create that fight flight mode, right, in us. So you want to make sure that you are understanding that you will make these affirmations will help you get through those fears. Okay, so you want to tell yourself certain things like, God is my only anchor. Change is the only constant. I trust God's plan. I trust His plan. Right? So certain affirmations that you can say, I can get through this. I am more than capable. Right? I got through other things in the past. Whatever you may say to help yourself, and you want to say this on a regular basis. Right? So those affirmations and basically will help set your mind. It will help your mindset. Okay? Reading motivational videos, right? Self-help books, whatever it may be. Reading the holy book, whatever your book is. Reading that, cleansing your soul, keeping it purified. All of these will help you. Again, what the goal is to keep your mindset strong, right, and clear, and that's how you do that. Moving on. Watch that mind chatter. Watch that mind chatter, because you're home now, right? You are not, you don't have a lot of social interaction, especially if you live alone or with just a few people. It might even if you're with people, with a big family, that mind chatter will increase now. What do I mean by mind chatter? Mind chatter is the negative talk, right? Or just habits, thought habits that have been formed, right, within your thought patterns that just keep repeating, or so you want to watch it, right? And whenever you see, let's say you're thinking too much about a certain thing, say, hi mind chatter. Hi mind chatter. The more you watch your thoughts, the more it passes through you, the more it does not control you, right? It just passes through you. Okay, when you do not watch your thoughts, it turns into a feeling, then it turns into a behavior, and it can become a big mess, right? So watching those negative thoughts, high mind chatter. If you're thinking, let's say you're sharing a household with someone, and you just start thinking about how they're doing horrible, things to you that you're upset over, or you get upset over, just say hi and put the person's name there and say, hi, let me give you a name. Hi, John Chatter. Right? So if it's something negative and it's repetitive, you want to say it like, hi, Sarah Chatter. So whatever it comes, or it could be like, hi, Fear Chatter. Whatever you're thinking, label it and say hi to it, in the sense that what ends up happening is those thoughts pass through you and they do not control you. Okay? You do not go into this negative state. Moving on. Oh, okay. And the other important thing that I did want to say was that trauma. Okay. So what do I want to say about trauma? What I want to say here is this, that prior to COVID starting, if you had already had a very, very challenging life, or a lot of tests in your life, this can really put you into a frenzy if you don't understand how to process this. So especially people who have complex trauma, who may be dealing with just a lot of trauma since they were younger, to adolescence, to adulthood, etc., right? That issues that never were really dealt with. This can just be like the nail in the coffin, like, oh my goodness, are you serious? Are we really going through COVID right now? Yes, we are going through COVID. Now, how do you process that? One way to process this is understanding that it's not personal, right? All these challenges that you've experienced in life are either to grow you in some way, right? Everything happens for a reason. It's interconnected, so it's not personal. It's already pre-planned by God. Understanding that, okay, number one. Now, take it furthermore. How do you untangle layers and layers and layers of trauma and tragedy, right? Especially with COVID, just with the cherry, being placed as the cherry on top. This is what you do. You understand that in life there will be tests. Picture your life like going to school, okay? Where there's going to be just regular classroom days where you just go to class and you have your little, ups and downs, but just regular, right? But then there's some times when there's going to be a bunch of tests, like final exam week or midterm week, right? So you have exams from like 5 or 6 different classes. This is how you want to see your life when it becomes very, very, there's a buildup of layers and layers of tragedy, right? Where it happens really quickly and right within months of each other. Understand that that's also part of life. That's your test as well. You're going to have midterm week, and you're going to have final week, right? So if you see, again, it's all about your mindset. If you understand this, then you'll say, oh my goodness, okay, I accept this. I expect it and I accept it, right? So you expect the reality of how this life works, but then you also accept it. So when it does happen, you don't say, oh my goodness, I'm the only one going through this. Oh my goodness, I can't deal with this. I can't do this. Now we have COVID. I just lost my, so-and-so, right? I just lost my father. I just lost my mother. Now you're going to tell me that I have to deal with COVID? Wait, in COVID, I just lost this person. And you know what, I lost that person. So understanding that this is part of life. There will be natural disasters. There will be viruses or pandemics that might come about every 100 years or whatnot, right? Understanding that there will be a string of challenges that will show up in your life, and understanding that's just final week, that's just midterm week. I got this. I got this, right? So I hope, to recap, I hope this has helped you. The biggest message that I do want to give you is that understanding that we all will be going through the grieving process. Our children will be too. So also checking up on them, right? Weekly, daily. If giving them more hugs, right? Giving yourself more love too, right? Checking on your children's feelings. Get them to see, if you can, if you're have them see a therapist. You know, teletherapy is huge right now. So get them to see someone. All right, have them see someone. You see someone if you need to, right? It's normal. It's normal. I feel like people who don't have a therapist, something's wrong with them. Okay, I'm just joking. But yes, I feel like therapy is part of life. Just like you go to a doctor for physical checkups, you need to go to a psychologist or or a therapist to help with your mind, right? That's part of your body too, right? Part of your whole system. Anyway, so I really hope this has helped you. I really hope you internalize what I'm saying and you actually use the techniques that I have recommended. I really believe in you all. I believe we will get through this. We will get through this. We've gotten through many things in the past and we will get through this. But it's very important to understand where we are as far as our emotions goes. Okay? Reach out to loved ones. Reach out if you need help. And I am sending you the most love and good energy, okay? Again, this is Dr. Khan and sending you lots and lots of love. May peace be upon you and good energy. Bye. Assalamu alaikum.